Welcome back, folks. My name is LastKnownMeal, and today we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Now, every single time I go live or I upload a video, there are always questions from people asking which life path I'm going to play, and also like what class and what build am I gonna go in once I'm inside the game. Obviously, talking about it right now before the game came out is a little bit abstract, but we can talk about certain things, especially like regarding life path, because I think it's important. So I will talk about my choices and why I'm gonna go with them. So let's get into it. So first off, if you didn't know already, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to have 3 life paths, and those are Street Kid, Nomad, and Corpo. And ultimately, every single one of them is different, because it means that your background, where you come from in this game, is going to be different. And by that, you're going to know different people, you're going to be interested in different stuff, and you will just know about different stuff in the game. Like, for example, a perfect example would be the Maelstrom mission. So if you're a street kid, you will know like what substance you were given to once you inhaled that. So as a street kid, you were dealing with that, so you know what it is. As a nomad, you will know, for example, how the Maelstrom was able to obtain Flathead from Militech, because, well, nomads are really good with transportation and generally distribution, so they will know like what routes they took so like, they can actually get Flathead. And as a Corpo, you will know that Militech, or well, Meredith Stout is planning something against the Maelstrom, because you are already in that world. You know how Corpos work, and you know that if someone crosses them, they're not going to forgive you. So ultimately, I like the direction CDPR is taking with this, because the first time when we heard about life paths in general, I thought it was going to be something you select in the main menu, and then of course in the game it's going to have different variables and variations depending on your choices. But when they actually said that each life path is going to start differently, and every life path in a sense has its own agenda or idea behind it, because as a street kid, the streets are yours. You don't know how corpos function, you don't know how nomads function, you deal with them on occasion, but from a logical standpoint, from an RPG standpoint, you will know the streets, but you won't know how everything else functions. And when I saw that, basically the intro is gonna be different, that when you start as a nomad, you're gonna start in the Badlands. When you're a Corpo, you're going to start as a Arasaka counterintelligence, and then later you will be fired. So all of those things essentially make the game different, and make the people you know in that game, you know, different, and how you work around the city is different, because you have 3 layers of, you know, of society, in my opinion, when it comes to Cyberpunk. That's the street level, that's the corporate level, and that's actually the Badlands. So I'm really happy the way they're taking this, and with every single trailer, I keep switching. I keep like saying, maybe I want to be a nomad first, but in the end, I decided to go with a street kid first. And the reason for that, it's very simple. I like the idea that as a street kid, you will get to know the street level of Night City the best, as I already said. And for me to kind of experience Cyberpunk in that way, and to really show the grittiness of the streets of that dystopian future, and how basically everything, you know, went sideways when it comes to society, and now the normal values that the society has no longer apply. So I really like this, you know, idea of just living on, you know, on the edge of the law in a sense, and doing certain things in the city. And for me, that gives me the full essence of what Cyberpunk is supposed to be, where high tech meets low life. And even before all of this, I always imagined myself kind of, you know, in that life path, even before we had the whole news that how those life paths are going to take. And essentially, as a street kid, you will at the beginning be boosting cars, you will be dealing with that. So I do want to see how they utilize that, and for me personally, to get the best feeling of Cyberpunk from within Night City at first, and to really get to know it, for me that's my primary choice. And that is going to be a street kid. When it comes to my second choice, I will go for Nomad. like so far I was like saying like, yeah, being a nomad is really cool, but in their latest trailer they really show the difference of being a street kid and being a nomad, because when you're a street kid it's hustle 24/7. Everyone around you either is going to kill you or you have to kill them. You're involved in various jobs all the time, so as a street kid, you know, you're already hustling. But as a nomad, they value freedom. And I really like the idea and the whole concept behind them, because Night City is generally, everyone who lives in the city is generally not a slave, I can't say slave, but they're under a certain system. But as a nomad, you live outside of the city where essentially there are no rules. And no one is telling you where you can go and where you can't go. So as a nomad, you can fully utilize everything around you, like the world around you and the Badlands, to experience that freedom. And just from that standpoint, I like that idea, so that's why I'm going to go with Nomad second. And also because I do want to experience the Badlands as a nomad, because as a street kid, you're going to exit to the Badlands, and that's where those minuses come for your life path, because you're not going to know that many people in Badlands. You're not going to know exactly how nomads function, because you were never a nomad. But as a nomad, experiencing Badlands and going through all of that, as they said, you know, racing on the open fields, you know, of the Badlands, that's really cool. And actually just going from the first one, which is a street kid, which is gonna be hustle, 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 going for the nomad and kind of experiencing that a little bit more leaned back lifestyle, because they do enjoy a lot. You saw that they were chilling around campfire, they were really living their life out there. That's how I want to experience it, and I think the only right way to experience the Badlands at start would be to be a nomad. And the last life path I'm going to play as is Corpo. So why is it last, and what's going on? Well, whenever I was growing up and when I was watching Cyberpunk, you know, movies, when I was watching and reading about that dystopian future, I always read about it from the street level, and I can kind of personally associate myself the best with that street level, because even today I don't know how corporations function, because I wasn't born into that world. So for me, that's kind of the biggest, how would I say, choice that is not me, that, you know, doesn't represent who I am. And you're gonna say, what do you have to do with the game? Like, what do your beliefs have to do with the game? Well, it's an RPG, and every time in an RPG for the first time, I have to play a character which I kind of always play, which is a good character, you know, but if you cross him, you're gonna die. That sort of a character. But as a Corpo, it's entirely different, because as a Corpo, you can't really be that nice. You were born into that, so the only way to survive is to basically take everything for yourself. And that was presented as also in the Lifepath trailer, when Jackie says to V, like, one day you're gonna be called to flatline someone, the next day someone's gonna be called to flatline you. So that's the Corpo world, which I'm kind of excited about, but for the end, you know. And as a Corpo, I'm definitely going to play that antagonist Corpo, like, I'll take everything for me, no one gets anything, and I think that's a really cool way to experience a game when you're ultimately playing a character that you never usually play. You know, the character who doesn't care about people, let's say, all about that. Now, you maybe play those characters all the time, I don't know, but for me that would be the third option, because it's really the furthest away from what I expected from the Cyberpunk dystopian future. And of course Corpos are a very, very important part of that universe, but I'll save them for last. For me, that's I think the biggest plus. Just save them for last, and then we're gonna go for that Corpo path. But yes, definitely the first one is gonna be Street Kid. I said the reasons why I really associate myself with that. And when I actually was growing up here in Bosnia, things were different back then. You didn't really spend a lot of time in your house. You were spending a lot of time on the streets. So, I don't know, it feels like home. I know it sounds crazy, but yes, it does feel like home, and that's why I'm taking the Street Kid first. And when it comes to builds, honestly, it's really difficult to talk about them now because we do have names of certain builds and certain abilities and perks we're gonna have in the game. But for the Street Kid one, I'm definitely going to go with more of a stealthy type, you know. I'm not gonna go in full guns blazing, even though I'm gonna be a Street Kid, it's not going to be full guns blazing. So I'll try to utilize a little bit of diplomacy against certain gangs, and then others, well, they gotta go. They gotta go. Because that's kind of the most similar to what I usually play in RPGs and kind of a character I like to make in RPGs. For the Nomad one, ooh, I was thinking of going full on solo with the Nomad, you know, just to go in guns blazing. I think that would be a good idea. I might even save that for later, because the reason why I say that I will go full solo with the Nomad, because as a Corpo, I really want to try something experimental, and that is to include a lot in charisma, you know, in speech, you know, just the golden tongue. Because as a Corpo, you can solve a lot of problems by negotiating, not killing anyone, you know, and I think that's the most important perk as a Corpo you can have, is to just, you know your way around, you know, dialogue options, and to know like what is going to happen. And one thing they kind of put in there is that, you know, NPCs can say one thing but they can mean something else, and I think that adds a really whole new layer of depth to the overall conversation and dialogue and relationships you have with the characters. So I'm gonna be definitely going for that when it comes to the corporate one. But even on the as a Street Kid, you gotta know how to talk to people, because if you do screw over a fixer, things are not going to turn out very nice. So that's kind of the thing there of the rule of the streets. The streets are basically the same as corporations. It's just a whole, you know, bigger level of just, you know, whenever someone makes a decision on a corporate level, it's going to influence a lot more people than, let's say, someone on a street level would. Because they have so much more power. So those are my decisions. Hopefully I explained why I'm gonna go with that, and what kind of builds I'm going to play. But I want you to tell me down below, what builds and what life path are you going to play first, and why? The game is still a little bit far away, but this was a very requested topic, so I wanted to get it out of the way, and I really enjoy talking about it. Definitely, I really enjoy talking about Lifepaths, because I think they did a nice job with them, definitely, of making them different, you know, ultimately, and just giving you more incentive to play the game again. If it's not going to be for the decisions in the game, it's going to be because of the Lifepath. So that is really nice. So thank you everyone for watching, thank you everyone for following. Tomorrow I'm going to have a live stream where we're going to talk about Cyberpunk. We have day 91, I think, tomorrow, so it's going to be decided if the game is going to be delayed. Well, we're going to be getting the news if the game is going to be delayed or not, so we'll have to wait and see. And by the way, just a quick update for everyone wondering about extra content, like me branching out and different stuff. I will have more content, don't worry. I took a small break, now I just got back, so I will definitely keep pumping these videos, and I'm excited to talk with everyone here. So thank you for watching again. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Tell me down below which life path are you gonna be playing first, and don't forget to visit us on our social media platforms, Twitter and Discord. We have a vibrant community there, so everyone is more than welcome. And that's pretty much it. This is LKM signing out. If you wanted an extra way to support the channel, I have a Patreon link, you can check it out down below. And huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. Bye bye.